Welcome. Today we have a very special guest. Let me give you all some tips. He has been living in the same house for 4 years, but he might move soon. And his house is white. Yes, you got it. Is our President Barack Obama.
Thank you, Judy. I'm excited to be here. Some of you might be wondering what I'm doing in your environmental control class, but my friend Sape invite me to talk a little bit about fire detection, alarm and suppression, and well, I am running my campaign for re-election. So I go to whatever I'm invited. Now let's get serious. This is a very important subject. In high-rise buildings and building with large areas, there are places that cannot be reached by firefighters as ladders and hoses.
In fact, most fire deaths occur in smaller residential buildings.
Well, yes. And those small constructions are important too, but larger commercial, industrial, and institutional buildings have the potential for many deaths and injuries from a single fire. And high-rise buildings require a great amount of time to evacuate. For this reason, all buildings taller than 75 feet must have their own firefighting system. A sprinkler system consists of a network of pipes in, or below the ceiling. The pipes are connected to a water supply and have valves or sprinkler heads that are made to open automatically at certain temperature. Each sprinkler head is controlled by a plug or link of fusible metal that melts at approximately 150 degrees.
A sprinkler system might seem expensive, but building codes commonly allow buildings with sprinkler systems to have greater distances between exits, thereby eliminating one or more stairways in a large building. Some fire-resistant walls and doors, as well as some structural elements, may need less fire protection. All in all, the codes for these buildings are less strict.
There are some disadvantages too. Water cools, smothers and dilutes the fire, but it also damages building contents and can conduct electricity. Water will not put out burning oil. The flammable oils will float and burn on the water's surface. When water hits a hot fire, the steam can harm firefighters. Despite these disadvantages, water remains one of the main ways to suppress a fire. Let's talk now about the different kinds of sprinkler heads. The upright sprinkler heads sit on top of exposed supply piping. Pendant heads hang below piping. Pendant heads may be recessed, with part of the sprinkler body concealed above suspended ceilings and the deflector located below the ceiling. Flush heads have only the heat-detecting element below a ceiling. Concealed heads are located entirely above a ceiling, with a cover plate that falls away in the fire. And last but not least, we have the side-wall sprinkler heads, which are usually located adjacent to one wall of small rooms, as in hotels or apartments. Another component of the sprinkler system is the piping system. There are different options for the piping systems, such as wet pipe, dry pipe, pre-action, deluge, and circulating closed-loop systems.
What kind of piping system will be used depends on the environmental conditions and necessities. For example, wet pipe systems are used in spaces where the air temperature exceeds 40 degrees, and frozen pipes are not a problem. On the other hand, dry pipe systems are used in unheated areas where wet pipe systems might freeze.
Sometimes, when the use of significant quantities of water threatens a building's structure or contents as much as a fire would, other means are used to smother the fire without substantial property damage. These include intrumescent materials, clean agent gases and foams.
We can also use a mist system. Mist systems were originally used for fires on ships. It allows a speedier initiation of the alarm and a quicker response to the fire than a sprinkler system. By using smaller volumes of water, mist systems reduce property damage.
Another option are the portable fire extinguishers.
Portable fire extinguishers are used to extinguish fires at an early stage.
These extinguishers are movable and do not require access to plumbing lines.
They are rated for the class of fire they are designed to fight. The number of portable fire extinguishers required and their locations depend on the hazard classification of the occupancy. They must be located in an accessible place along the mean of egress.
You also need to be familiar with the building codes and the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements. If a fire suppression system will be used by a building's occupants, it must be mounted at accessible heights and located within accessible reaches from a front or side wheelchair approach. Fire suppression equipment may not protrude more than 4 inches into the path of travel.
And what about the fire detection and alarms, Mr. President?
Oh, I almost forgot. Sprinkler systems are designed to simultaneously start to extinguish a fire and send out an alarm. When water flows through a sprinkler head, an alarm goes off outside the building. The alarm alerts people of the fire and allows building occupants to make additional firefighting arrangements in order to both minimize loss and speed the end of the fire and limit water damage.
Fire alarms are often connected to private, regional supervisory offices that call the municipal fire department.
All public buildings and some other buildings are required to have fire detection and fire alarm systems with an indicator that shows the location of the fire in the custodian's office. There is a great variety of fire detectors. To choose between them depends on the location, the kind of activities that people do in that space, and on what stage of the fire is wanted to be detected. One can choose from ionization, gas sensing, photoelectric, laser, air sampling, ultraviolet to much more.
Building codes specify which occupancies require smoke detectors, but not always provide specific locations, so an interior designer must determine the best placement in order to avoid false alarms as much as possible. You'll find that there are some problematic areas for smoke detectors such as kitchens, laundries, shower rooms, repair shops and laboratories with open flames used in work, among others. In this less than ideal locations, more than one type of detector should be used, with provisions of extra maintenance and for verification of alarms.
Sometimes a person is the first to notice the fire and set off the alarm by using a pull station or telephone. New handicapped accessible types of pull boxes are available that are actually pushed and that take minimal effort to operate. Both regular pull boxes and the newer accessible boxes must be read.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. It's been a joy.
Not mention Judy. As I said before, this subject is very important.
Sure it is. After all, our goal is to design beautiful, comfortable, safe spaces.
Oh. And one last thing, remember to vote. It doesn't really matter for whom, but do it.
See you guys next time.